Hey everyone, my name is Dan Longman and I am with Priority Lending. Hey, so I work with a lot of first-time home buyers when it comes to purchasing their first home, and we help them with the financing. Now, what I've come to realize is a lot of first-time home buyers don't really know where to start. They don't even really know what a mortgage is. So I want to just quickly shoot this video just to kind of give a overall view of how the mortgage process works, what a mortgage is, and basically what it entails when you take out a loan. So quickly, let's just start here with a mortgage. What is a mortgage? Well, a mortgage is basically a loan. It's an agreement between you and a lender or a bank. It could also be an individual. And it's basically an agreement to borrow a certain amount of money that is attached to the property. If you don't pay that mortgage, then the bank, the lender, the private individual has the right to foreclose on that property. So there's an old expression that says, you pay, you stay, okay? So let's go through, I have a quick example here that I just wanted to show you guys. So let's say you want to buy a home, and that home costs $500,000. Obviously, like most people, you might not have $500,000 in cash that you can pay the home outright. So what you do in this case is you would take a loan. But let's say you have $50,000. So $50,000 would be what we call your down payment. This is what you're going to put up that's going to be applied towards that $500,000 home. So you put the $50,000 down, you're left with $450,000 that you owe. So this is where you would get a mortgage. So the mortgage would come from usually a bank, but it also could be a lender, or it could be a private individual or company. Basically, whoever wants to lend you this $450,000 so you can get into the property. So I'm gonna give you a quick example how the $450,000 loan works. So I'm just gonna use a sample interest rate here of 5%. Now, interest is obviously what the bank, the lender, the private individual is going to charge you for lending that money. Now, if you think about it, it's a lot of money for someone to lend. They obviously want to get a return on their investment. Because if someone were to lend you $450, especially nowadays with inflation being so high, if they weren't getting any return, they are losing money. Even at a rate of 5%, they're probably still losing money because of how high inflation is right now. So obviously, any investor, any bank, any individual, any lending institution is going to charge interest when they lend you money. So we used an example here of 5%. So if they were to lend you this $450 at a rate of 5%, the interest over the principal and interest payment over 30 years would be $2,415 on this example. Now this doesn't include your taxes and insurance. You would be responsible to pay that as well. But this would be the principal and interest payment. And what would happen is every month when you make that payment of $2,415, a little bit would go to principal, so it'd come off of this $450 loan, and then the rest would go to interest. But each month as you go, just a little more goes to principal and a little less to interest. So a loan is very heavy interest in the beginning of it, the first several years. But as you, like I said, as you go through, more goes to principal, less goes to interest as you get through the term. Now, some loans can be what they call an interest-only loan. Not too common anymore with banks and lending institutions, but some private individuals, some corporations will lend money interest-only. Now, what does that mean? That means your payment's gonna be less because now there's no principal involved. You're just paying the interest on that loan. So then instead of the payment being $2,415, you can actually have a payment of $1,875. So this is $540 less. However, because you're only paying interest, the balance of the loan would never go down. It would remain at that $450. So your $1,875, remember, is just going to the bank or investor for their interest, and the balance would remain the same, okay? So you would still owe $450,000. So in that example, or any example, let's say we fast forward a couple years and the market's done really well like it's done now, and this $500,000 house you bought is now worth $600,000. Pretty good. So what would happen in this, when you go to sell it for $600, if you signed a contract, the first thing that always gets paid right off the bat, no matter what, is going to be your loan to the bank or lending institution. So So this 450 would go to them. If there's anything else, if you had taken out a second mortgage or you had an additional lien on the property, let's say you had a permit violation, whatever it is, it would come out next. You would have the first mortgage loan would get paid, any other liens, but in this case, let's just say you had a first mortgage lien you paid. So in this example, then you would have a profit of $150,000, right? You bought it for 500, you put 50 into it, that's great, but this is being calculated here. Whatever you put down here doesn't really matter because it's all being factored into your sales price. So this 150, you could say, well, I already put 50 in, you netted 100, you cleared 150, but if you really want to see what was your actual net gain from what you put in the beginning, you just subtract that by the 50,000, and then your actual net gain on this property would be 100K in this example. So anyway, that's pretty much how it works as far as what a mortgage is, as far as when you take out a loan, how an investor or bank charges interest, and how the payoff works when you go to sell the house. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I wish you guys the best, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.